Today, God's message is one of love, peace, and encouragement, calling you to draw near to Him, trust in His presence, and remember His promises. Whether life feels calm or chaotic, God is here to remind you that He is with you in every moment, offering strength, guidance, and unfailing love. Today, He wants you to know that you are not alone on this journey, that He sees every detail of your life, and that His plan for you is full of hope, purpose, and fulfillment. His love surrounds you, reaching into every part of your life, no matter how messy, challenging, or uncertain things may seem. God understands the challenges you face, the burdens you carry, and the questions you may have about the future. He knows when you feel discouraged, afraid, or weary, and He gently reminds you to find rest in His presence. He is the one who says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." These words invite you to lay down everything you're carrying, to let go of trying to do it all on your own, and to trust that God is able to handle it for you. His strength is perfect even in your weakness, and His love never fails. There is no situation too complicated, no hurt too deep, and no mistake too big for God's grace to cover. He is always ready to renew your strength, restore your heart, and fill you with His peace. One of the beautiful things about God's love is that it meets us right where we are. We don't need to have it all together, to be perfect, or to prove ourselves worthy of His attention. In fact, God often works most powerfully in the moments we feel weak, lost, or unworthy. His love doesn't depend on our performance, our achievements, or the approval of others. God sees us through the lens of His mercy, compassion, and grace. He calls us His children, beloved and precious in His sight. This truth can be hard to accept in a world that often judges by appearances, success, or outward strength. But God's view is so much deeper. He sees our hearts, knows our struggles, and cares deeply for our souls. God is also inviting you to trust in His timing. Life often unfolds in ways that are beyond our understanding, with doors that close unexpectedly and paths that seem to twist and turn. But God's wisdom is higher than ours, and He assures us that His plans are good, even when we can't see the whole picture. In the Bible, God reminds us, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This promise is not a guarantee that life will be free from difficulties, but it is a promise that every detail of our lives is held in His hands and that He is working all things together for good. This trust requires surrender, letting go of the need to control every part of our lives and allowing God to lead us in His perfect wisdom. It can be challenging to relinquish control, especially when we are anxious about the future or unsure of the path forward. But God invites us to let go, to place our faith in Him, and to rest in the assurance that He is guiding our steps. As we lean into this trust, we find a peace that surpasses understanding, a confidence that comes from knowing we are deeply cared for by the Creator of the universe. Trusting God means believing that even when life doesn't make sense to us, He is still sovereign, loving, and working for our good. Today, God also wants to remind you of the power of prayer. Prayer is not just a ritual or a duty. It is a lifeline, a way to connect deeply with the one who knows you best and loves you most. Through prayer, you can bring your hopes, fears, questions, and desires to God, knowing that He hears you and cares about every word. Prayer is a space where you can be completely honest, where you don't have to pretend, and where you can pour out your heart. God already knows your thoughts, but He loves when you come to Him willingly, seeking His presence, comfort, and guidance. In these moments, you can experience His peace, His reassurance, and His strength, empowering you to face whatever lies ahead. Prayer is also a reminder that you are never alone. Even in the quiet moments when you feel isolated or forgotten, God is there, listening and ready to meet you. Through prayer, He offers not only answers, but also a relationship, a closeness that brings comfort and courage. When you pray, you are reminded of His faithfulness and His promises. You can trust that He is working, even in ways you cannot see. orchestrating every detail of your life to bring about His purposes. God's message today is also an invitation to walk in love. Jesus taught that the greatest commandments are to love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. This love is more than a feeling. It is an action, a choice to show kindness, compassion, and forgiveness, even when it's difficult. God's love is a model for us, unconditional, unchanging, and sacrificial. By loving others, we reflect His light in the world, becoming His hands and feet to those in need. Love has the power to heal wounds, to build bridges, and to bring hope in places of darkness. In a world that often values self-promotion and division, God calls us to be different, to live in a way that honors Him and shows His love to those around us. This love also extends to forgiving ourselves and others. Just as God's forgiveness is freely given to us, He invites us to extend that same grace to others. Holding on to bitterness, resentment, or guilt only weighs us down and keeps us from experiencing the fullness of His joy. Forgiveness is not always easy, but it is liberating, freeing us to live with peace and purpose. When we choose to forgive, we open our hearts to God's healing, allowing His love to renew us and give us a fresh start. God's message today is one of hope. In a world that can feel overwhelming, filled with uncertainty and challenges, God offers us a hope that is unshakable. This hope is rooted not in our circumstances, but in His unchanging character. He is faithful, loving, and just. He promises to be with us always, to provide for our needs, and to guide us with His wisdom. This hope is an anchor for our souls, a reminder that no matter what storms we face, God is with us steady and true. Hope is the assurance that our lives have purpose, that our struggles are not in vain, and that there is always light ahead. God's hope gives us the strength to keep going, to hold on even when the journey is tough. It reminds us that there is more to our story, that the best is yet to come, and that God's promises are true. When we place our hope in Him, we are not disappointed, for He is faithful to fulfill His word. As you take this message to heart, remember that God's love for you is personal and profound. He knows every detail of your life, every joy and every sorrow, and He cares deeply for you. You are not just a face in the crowd. You are His beloved child, and He has a unique purpose and plan for your life. He is calling you to trust Him, to walk with Him, and to lean into His strength. Whatever challenges you face, whatever questions linger in your heart, know that God is with you, guiding you every step of the way. Let His message bring peace to your heart, clarity to your mind, and courage to your spirit. Know that you are deeply loved, wholly forgiven, and completely accepted by God. He sees you, knows you, and delights in you. This is the truth that can bring freedom, joy, and hope, no matter where you are or what you're going through. Thank you for watching, and if this message has touched your heart, be sure to subscribe to this channel for more encouragement and inspiration on your journey with God.